guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and today we're going to talk about our 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, believe it or not, we leased this December 31st, New Year's Eve of 2018. So to give you a little background, so the 39-month lease is up, and now we're going to decide, do you want to trade in your car, keep the car, buy it out, or maybe in this market, buy it and sell it for a profit. So we're going to go over what we decided to do in this video. So remember, if you like these kind of videos, hit the like button. Always comment. So the YouTube algorithm rewards likes and comments. And of course, if you're watching this video, you should be a subscriber and hit the notification bell. Only 10% of my subscribers have actually hit the notification bell, and this way you don't miss a video. I post new videos every Monday and Friday, and sometimes Wednesday as well, and you won't know unless you hit the notification bell. Thank you very much. All right, so a little background. I've had, between me and my wife, we've had like 5 or 6 Jeep Grand Cherokees over the years. So 2014, I did a video for that. I kept that. We had a 3-year lease back in 2014, leased it on Halloween. I think it was a 39-month lease, 12,000 miles a year for 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Our payment with tax was $486 a month with a couple thousand down. And we bought the lease out. So the Jeep was great when we hit that 36,000 mile threshold. I think we were a little over the miles, that 12,000 a year. So we bought the Jeep out, wound up keeping it 5 years, so 2 more years after the 39 months. Needed tires, needed brakes, so when we did that, we said, hey, we might as well keep it. And then when it hit around 60,000 miles, and I did a 60,000 mile review of the 2014, back, I guess, at the end of 2018 when we were selling it to get this 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it had all kinds of problems. It had 2 oil leaks, and it was like the repair list was like $7,000. So we traded it into the dealer and leased this new one. Now, this new one was more money, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee had been out a couple years, so we got about $8,000 off sticker on this. So this is a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, which gives you leather as standard, and then it has what's called the Lux 2 package, Lux 2 package, and that gives you the dual pane sunroof, I think upgraded stereo, heated rear seats, a bunch of stuff. And it's only like another $20, $25 a month on your lease payment, so we got that. The incentives were so good, being that this Jeep Grand Cherokee had been out a while, and it was New Year's Eve, so I always tell you buy between the week before Christmas or the week after, because that's I've gotten best deals. I've bought new and used cars where I've sold them for more money by just doing that, and we got like $8,000 off sticker, and our lease payment went for a brand new vehicle. Instead of having an old vehicle that was $486 a month, we leased this brand new for a couple thousand down, got like $8,000 off sticker, $411 a month with tax, which was amazing for brand new. Remember, new tires and brakes, no problems, no oil leaks. 39-month lease. So the 39 months ended in March of 2022. And in this video, so I'll go over any problems and what we decided to do with the lease. So it's been 0 issues, but we're below the miles, to be fair. So we got 29,000 miles, just under 30,000 miles, maybe about to hit 30,000 miles. So with the lease, 1,000 a month, right? 12,000 miles a year for 39 months, we can go up to 39,000. So we're about 10,000 miles under the lease. So the tires still have a ton of tread. Front brakes are probably going to go soon. So if we buy this out, that's something to consider. So the simplest solution when you lease, so you really have 3 options, right? Turn it in, lease a new car, buy it out, or possibly you have equity and you could buy it out and sell it for a profit or trade it in for a profit. So with this car, the easiest thing would have been, if the market wasn't crazy, just to get a new lease and hopefully get another Jeep Grand Cherokee. They redesigned it for 2022. It's a little bigger. It has the new grille and everything like that. So we test drove it. The transmission was way better. I think they updated the transmission and shift much faster. It seemed bigger inside. What I didn't like is there was piano black all over the place, and this is our family car with 2 kids. You're going to get a dust all over the place. So that wasn't thrilling, but the acceleration was a lot better. We only test drove the Pentastar V6, which on the 2019 is 280. I think it's still in that range for the new one. So it felt significantly quicker, but it also felt bigger, which I believe it is. And it wasn't the L with the 3rd row seat. It was still the 5-passenger. But to get a $550 a month lease, so now $140 more a month, we had to put like $8,000 down to get the lease. So I didn't think that was worth it because there's so few cars. Like the Jeep dealer, which is a huge Jeep dealer, they only had 1 in stock. So obviously they're not giving that away. Even getting it in MSRP, it was still a huge difference where this was discounted in 2018, 2019 model, $8,000. The new ones, there's no discount. Also looked into the Acura RDX. That may be our favorite than having a bigger Jeep because I don't think we need such big vehicle. And that was like $650 a month on a lease with a couple $1,000s down, where 3 years ago when we leased this, we strongly compared the RDX and the MDX, and because of the discounts, the both of those leases were in the fours, in that 450, 460, 480 range. So now they've gone up $200 a month with a lot more money down, just like the Jeep had gone up $130 with an extra $8,000 down. So maybe leasing a new car at this time wasn't a good alternative. So the good news is we have a lot of equity because we're under the miles. So our buyout was like $23,000 on this 2019. And if you paid sales tax, so this is how buyouts work. If you want to buy it out, you paid sales tax on the initial cost of the lease. Now you have to pay sales tax on the residual value of the car. So if you buy it with 23,000 or whatever it was, you have to pay sales tax on top of that, which in New Jersey, and it's the state that you live in where you're going to register the car, is 6.625%. It was 7%. They lowered it years ago. And so all in, our buy is like $25,000. So if we were going to trade this in, I talked to a couple people, our trade-in value at the time when I'm filming this, March of 2022, with these miles, is about $30,000. So if we pay the sales tax, we'll have $5,000 equity. Now the issue is, we thought about using, the way I was trying to do this so my wife can get a new lease was, all right, so we're going to overpay by $5,000 on the new car because there's no discounts now. But if we have $5,000 in equity here, it would cancel itself out. The only problem our leasing company, and it's not just this leasing company, US Bank, is the buyout only pertains to us. So we can't go to another dealer and trade it in unless they use US Bank also. So for example, our buyout with tax, if we bought it individually, was $25,000. If we go to a US Bank dealer and get a new lease or finance a new car through US Bank, they can buy it out for that $25,000 as well. But if we go to a different dealer, say she wants a BMW, and we go to the BMW dealer and they don't deal with US Bank, for example, their buyout is $35,000. So we couldn't just do a trade. Like I was thinking, all right, well, if she wants a new Jeep, we can get out of the lease that way, and we'll overpay on the new one by paying MSRP if we can get somebody to sell it to us MSRP. But we have $5,000 in equity, so that'll make up the difference. But because of the leasing company, a lot of the banks are doing it now, you can't do that. So why don't you just turn the lease in and buy something else like a CPO or used car? So the problem is if we just trade the lease in, we lose that $5,000 of equity, right? So really the only way we're getting that equity is if we go through US Bank again, or we buy it ourselves. Now the tricky part is, say I found a CPO, something that we want. The problem is I have to get the paperwork from US Bank, which takes, or any leasing company, not just them, which takes 30 days. I have to go register the car in our name personally, take it to inspection, and then pay the sales tax. So I'm still going to be out 25 grand. I hope it's still worth 30 while I do all that, right? It could be worth 26 and then, or 25, and it wouldn't be worth it if the market changes, though I think the market will change slowly. So a third option, which nobody really talks about, well, before I get to the third option, I know a lot of you guys have been reliable with the maintenance. The maintenance has been easy. It's been essentially glorified oil changes. The tires are still good after 30,000 miles. The front brakes are still good. Do a lot of highway with this car, so yours could be different. The stereo is excellent. I went over this, the differences between the 19 and the 14. Transmission is much better. You have a regular transmission gear lever, not that toggle switch that they have from the old Mercedes. The backup camera is 1,000 times better. More clear, sharper resolution. I think the Jeep infotainment is the easiest to use. I'm not a tech person. I can use more of this stuff than I can on my M340 iDrive. So I think it's really good to do that. You have Apple CarPlay, but it has to be plugged in. And it's been a great vehicle. It's certainly not a sports car, but it's great in the bad weather. It's comfortable. I drive it in the winter a lot because of the potholes, and it's got good sidewalls. So I've never had a flat with this car in any Jeep Cherokee I've had, even hitting big potholes, because sometimes you can't see if they're covered in rain or something like that, covered with a puddle. So there's actually a third option when you have a lease, right? So I could buy it, I could turn it in, I could just turn it into the dealer and lease a new one. So the third option actually, or the fourth option, I guess, is extend your lease. So because the cars we want now, we'd have to, or $200 more a month than this one, like the RDX or the new Jeep Cherokee. We're going to keep this 6 more months, and who knows, we might need front brakes during that time, but I don't think we'll need tires since we're so under the miles. And now our buyout, well, you have to be careful. What does that do to your buyout? So our buyout with tax was 25, so it'll go down proportionally. So if we keep it like the next 6 months, I think even with our tax, our buyout will only be 22, so that'll be good. So I don't think the Jeep will be worth 30,000, and even though I don't think we're going to put that many miles on it, I don't think so the 30,000, I don't think it's going to be worth in 6 months, but it might be worth 26 or something like that. And then we'll still have 4,000 in equity because our buyout would go to 22. And the good news is you could sign up for the 6 months and then you could cancel anytime with 30 months notice. So if we see if the Jeep deals come down on the 2022s or the RDX or say an X3 or something like that, 2 months from now, we could turn it in, our buyout will be adjusted, and hopefully we'll still have that 5,000 equity, which could be the down payment of the next lease. Another option I was thinking of is maybe next time, just getting the equity out of this car, so probably buying it out and then trading it in and using that $5,000, putting more money down and maybe buying a CPO SUV and, putting 40 or 50% down and just keep it long term. I guess that's still on the table, but the problem is I'm on commission and a couple of landlords owe me money, so I haven't been paid. I did a closing in, because most of commercial, not to bore you with that, is leasing, not buying and selling, because there's very few properties available and they get 10 offers just like residential. So leasing, you usually get half the money 30 days after signing and then half the money a year later or 18 months later, depending on the company's credit, could even be 3 years later. So I closed this deal I'd been working on for 6 months. February 2nd, I still haven't been paid my first 50%, which was due in February. So I'm hesitant to put money on another car just in case the landlord screwed me and doesn't pay me. So that happens sometimes. So since I have no paychecks since February, I don't want to buy anything where I have to put money out until I get a paycheck. With a lease payment, at least I can budget that rather than putting, say, 20,000 down or 25,000 down on a CPO vehicle to keep the payments the same. Because I was thinking of doing that since I'm on commission. Last thing I want to do is a big payment. So typically when I buy a car, I put a big down payment so I can keep my payment the same. So if the lease payment was $411 a month, try to keep the buy somewhere in the fours and put enough money down in the difference. The problem is I haven't had a paycheck, so I can't. I'll be fine once I get paid on this deal, but the landlords, they hold the money and get interest on it. The last thing they want to do is give it to you, and they have every excuse in the book. It's an accounting problem. Somebody's got to sign off on it. Hey, guess what? It's another accounting problem just so they don't have to give you the money. So you're probably going to see this video in April, and I still haven't been paid yet. So we'll go from there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set it 6 months. So how does that work with your payment? So the 411 stays the same, but now they got to charge you sales tax on that because remember, I haven't bought the vehicle out. So the sales tax I paid that was in the 411 originally was just for the beginning part of the lease, the first 39 months. So where it's going to be 411 plus the additional sales tax, which probably makes it 430 or something like that. And then we'll have it up to 6 months, but we can cancel month to month if we find anything else. So what would you do in that situation? Let me know in the comments below. Would you buy it? Would you just turn it in? Would you lose your equity? Would you buy it out and then go to DMV and register it and pay the sales tax? And actually the sales tax is done with the lessor. I didn't realize that. I thought I'd just give them a check for the buyout. I go register, pay the tax. They actually collect the tax, and then they just give you paperwork to go to DMV. So what would you do in this situation? Now, do I think the chip shortages and the car shortages will be done in 6 months? No, but at least we have time. Maybe some cars will depreciate. Maybe we'll get lucky. And, one of my dealers that I deal with will have a glut of, RDXs or Jeeps or something that we can get one, or maybe, an X3 or something like that. And then something maybe will shake available. I think it's better than doing that. Now, the caveat is we'll probably lose something because if we keep driving it for 6 months, we'll probably need front brakes, which will be $500 or something like that. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you would do in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.